Okay, so we're at the cusp of Black History Month, right? So Black History Month is a time when we're allowed, we've been given permission to have our gripes about our history and all the evil things that have been done to us, right? And we can speak freely until the 31st of October. So throughout this month, towards the end of the show, I will just be presenting a very short discussion of some historical facts that you might find very, very interesting.
Fantastic.
So if we put the first picture up, I want to ask the viewers, who is this character? Type in the chat box, please, and let us know who this character is. Have you ever seen him before? Maybe you saw him down Dalston.
Who is that character? Obviously, one of the very first men to wear bling.
Indeed. Throw it back up, please. Throw it back up, please, sir. Put it back up on the screen. Let the viewers see it. Who is this character?
Any comments?
Alison says Henry VIII. Well, Alison, you are absolutely wrong. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Henry VIII.
Hold on. Put the picture back up again. That is not Henry VIII.
That is not Henry VIII.
Oh, what it?
Right?
Okay. You got me intrigued now.
It is a picture that purports to be Henry VIII. This is someone, right, who is. Let me throw the next picture. Well, hold on a second. Before we throw the next picture, let me explain something very, very quickly. All monarchs and kings, in other words, and queens, had their personal portrait painter. In other words, it was the equivalent of having your own photographer, right?
All right.
So the photographer or painter of King Henry VIII was a man known as John Faber Jr. So if you see any pictures of King Henry VIII, they need to be authentic only by being painted by this man, John Faber Jr. So if you look at your screen now, you're actually looking at
a portrait.
One of the only paintings done by Mr. John Faber Jr., who painted Henry VIII as he saw him back.
Wow,
next slide, please.
So hold on.
Yep.
So who was that guy then? This guy who we've always been.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay, cool. All right. Next slide.
No. Sorry, no. There's a slide before that. No, there's a slide before that. You're gonna go through all of them now, right? Okay. No. Before that. Go back one. Okay. So here's a picture. Now this picture is of Henry VIII on the History Channel, right? Now look at that picture very, very closely.
Yeah, he looked like a black man. Right.
Let's slide to the next picture so you can get an even closer look. Let's go to the next picture. Right, there you go. This is actually an authentic picture of King Henry VIII. Now, did he look like the very first picture of that white man that we saw?
No, not at all. This looked like, this looked like one of them man that I see in Oasis one time who had a little bit of kind of gingery kind of air.
Now, just to make things even more intriguing, let's move on to the next picture, right? And this is Henry VIII when he was a child.
No, shut up, man. Stop this.
Right? Look at the hair. Right? This is Henry VIII when he was a child.
You sure this is Prince Henry and not Princess Henrietta?
No, this is the actual prince that became King Henry VIII. Right? Let's move forward a little bit more, please. Next slide. Now here is a picture. If you look on the very left is King Henry VIII again, right? Now King Henry VIII was the second of 3 children. He wasn't actually meant to be king. The gentleman in the middle is his older brother, right? His name was Arthur. Now, but Arthur was he's said to have been a very sickly prince, and died at a young age, and that is what caused Henry VIII to come to the throne.
Come on, you couldn't have King. There's only one King Arthur, man. You can't have another King Arthur.
Right, but he was named after the original King Arthur, you see. And there you see on the right-hand side what is his younger sister. Her name was Princess Margaret. Next slide.
What a thing.
Next slide.
You're really giving us some history now.
Yes, right, sorry, that's it. So the point being here, right, is that we've had an indoctrination where we have been led to believe that, you know, black people have not really contributed anything in this country to this, right? And yet here we have official portraits, right, and official paintings, right, of a somewhat black-looking King Henry.
Well, listen, Antigua and Allison says, no wonder he liked to kill people. He had a messed up childhood. He had issues with his own head, so he chop off other people's.
Now, you know, that's a very interesting point, Alison, and we'll get, there's something very interesting about all this and why I'm actually even bringing this up for Black History Month, right? So, and I showed all those pictures to try and prove to you that we don't just look at one picture and say, oh, he's black. Because you know how we say something, yeah, man, everybody black, and you just got one picture, which is questionable.
Yeah,
but when you look at
women.
His childhood,
you
look at his picture of his childhood, you see his brother, right? You get to understand that he's not the white character that we have been taught. Now, here's something really interesting for all you people who ever lived in Hackney, right? All you Hackneyites.
No.
Let me tell you, if you know, can anybody tell me what is the name of that road or the street that's between Dalston Junction, right? Dalston Junction and Ridley Road. What is that main road called? Does anybody know?
Dalston Junction and Ridley Road, people.
Ridley Road. What is that main road called?
Only one road is coming to my mind, which is
on a postcard, please.
Which is Mere Street, but
right. Okay, let me put you out your misery. It's Kingsland Road.
Kingsland Road. That's correct. Yeah. That's right.
Now listen to me.
Yeah.
Kingsland, right? Now listen to me when I tell you when I say the road, the name of the road again. Kingsland Road. Kingsland Road. Kingsland Road. Why is it called Kingsland Road? This is connected to Henry VIII.
So are we trying to say that King Henry VIII had owned that road in Hackney?
Let me explain.
Is that where his baby mother used to live?
Right. Let me explain. Kingsland Road, right? That whole area, right, centuries ago was nothing but woodland and marshland, right?
Right.
It was the personal hunting grounds of King Henry VIII.
Wow.
So when his brethren them used to come, when diplomats used to come, when visitors used to come, he used to take them there to go hunting.
And what exactly was he hunting for? Patty?
Out of boar and fox and that's what they do, right?
Wow.
Now, the reason why I know this is I did a historian's tour of the area, right? And
learn with today, Tony boy. Wow.
I was shocked. Now, to prove what I'm saying is true, because I think if you go online, you're probably going to find it very difficult to prove because there's probably no references to it. But let me give you the names of some of the surrounding roads, right, to Kingsland Road. And I'll tell you who they're named after, right? So let me just get my little notes here. So you have a road called Wolsey Road, Wolsey. Wolsey Road, right?
Thomas Wolsey.
NV1. That road. Right, Wolsey Road is named after Cardinal Thomas Wolsey. Right, you've got Howard Road, N16. Howard Road is named after the Duke of Norfolk, named Thomas Howard.
Wow.
You've got Boleyn Road, Boleyn, N16. Right, And Berlin, right. One of his girl, yeah?
Look
That's
at this.
M16.
My man say, of course we
Right?
love it, baby love. Look, wait one. Child, take this road. My
And
man,
interestingly, those of you who went to school in Hackney,
yeah.
right, would recognize this. The Archbishop of York, right, at the time that Henry was ruling, is a man named Cardinal Reginald Pole. So for
Okay.
those of you who know of Cardinal Pole School, Cardinal Pole was the Archbishop of York at the time that King Henry VIII reigned.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to share with you, right, is that when you think that your dad or granddad was the first black man to walk up Ridley Road, yeah, 500 years before him, a big black bossy black man with all heap of girl, right, and all heap of money was roaming these areas, right? And we didn't know that because, of course, this is not what we're taught in school.
Yeah. So, boy, King Henry VIII was saying, you see all of this? This is my oasis.
That was his oasis, right? So Alison says that she went to Cardinal Pole. Well done, I went there too.
Wow.
So,
And of course you've got Victoria Park in Hackney as well, which Victoria.
Right. But again, this area was quite famous with monarchs, right? From King Henry VIII onwards. I mean, as the weeks go on, I'll go into a bit more detail about the black involvement, right, and what these monarchs actually did. But I wanted to share something that perhaps, we will never be taught, right? And I think people would find that quite interesting because we've been so indoctrinated, right? Because paintings, right, are the modern day television, right? They didn't have TV in their days, but they had paintings. Paintings gave them a view of the world. And what happened is that there were many paintings done of King Henry VIII, right? After he had passed away, they lightened it up. As we'll talk about this a bit more in a few weeks' time about the idea of propaganda. They lightened the painting up, and that painting that we threw up earlier is actually is authorized, right? So it's original. It's not a fake. It's not like the first one I put up, which is one of a number of pictures that have been lightened of the king. John Faber Jr. was the portrait, was the painter, and Dalston is where the man did Rome.
And listen, so for those of you living in East London, Hackneyites, as I'd like to call you, listen, it's important that you let your children know that, know these things so that when people want to talk rubbish about your area, let them know the truth. A Kingsland you walk pan. So hold up your heads as kings and queens and walk good when you're down Ridley Road Market. Yeah, they might not have pheasant hang up there. It might just be that is meat, or you might see like an oxtail or cow foot. But back in the day, you had pheasant. So listen, be proud, man. Tony, man, that's amazing. When I first saw the first picture, I was smug because I was like, come on, I know this is King Henry VIII, man. Come on, you can't test me on this. But when you said it wasn't him, I had no idea where he was going, and I couldn't even dream that all of this knowledge was going to come and be shared with us today, man. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this every week now, Tony.
Yes, sir. I'll try my best.
I might bring a little bit of black knowledge as well. Well, I live northwest London, so there ain't
There's a lot up there. There's a lot up there.
We got a lot in the cemetery. We've got a lot of famous people in Kensal Green Cemetery, which happens to be the most expensive cemetery in the whole of the UK. Kensal Green Cemetery, which is across the road from me. So imagine now, if I dead now, I want to go across the road. Me can't go there because it's too expensive. Me now have to go get married in Scotland.
But it's all of that. It's all of that stuff. That as the weeks go on, I want to talk about why these paintings were changed. Why were they lightened? Was it just because of being black? I want to talk about Thomas Cromwell, who smashed all the paintings and statues up and down Great Britain during the time, right, of revolution, when this country was when it was changing, right. I want to talk about the people of Ireland, Scotland, who they really were. So yeah, we'll be delving into those subjects in a few weeks.
Wonderful, man, wonderful. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got some interesting facts and figures yourself as regards to Black history, please feel free to share it with us. This is equally your platform as it is myself and Tony. Wow, what can I say? So look, Black History Month is amongst us in a couple of days. Tony, is there any other places you're going to be sharing knowledge and dropping some wisdom?
In the next few weeks, as the dates are confirmed, I'll let everybody know, because I'll be giving a few sort of historical talks, talking about where we are as a people here in 2020 and where exactly are we going, and it just ties in from the history from the past, bringing us right up to date and into the future.
Okay. Well, look, next week I'm hoping to have a little snippet, if I can possibly get it, of we're speaking about Black history. Of next Tuesday will be the launch of a new Black quiz show on ITV. It runs for 4 weeks. It's called Sorry, I Didn't Know. I've mentioned it before. If you didn't know that, well, sorry, you didn't know, but you do now, because I've just told you. So I'm going to try and see if I can get an exclusive clip to play for you all next Tuesday. It is at 10:45 on ITV, and who knows, we may have a special guest next week to talk about it.
Yay.
Keep them peeled. Final thoughts, Tony?
Oh my goodness, if only you knew your history, Black people, your life would change.
I think my first revelation as regards to Black history, gosh, my first revelation of Black history is got to be about music. I think the first time I felt rebellious to other societies is I had an argument with my mother once, and it was because she was Seventh-day Adventist, and she was which was very conservative church at that time. So in the church they wouldn't even clap. If the pastor gave a tremendous speech or somebody sang a fantastic song, they would never clap. Or you can't clap in the house of the Lord. This wrong. Oh no, this is a place of worship, not a place of entertainment. They wouldn't. So they would just, even if you did the wickedest, not wicked, but if you did the best, if you did a sermon which was even better than Jesus's 5 loaves and 3 fishes, they would just say, "Amen." That's it. That's the levels. So they had the choir. My mum's the elderly choir, and I've never heard so much cowbelling in my life. Shall we come a mighty river? And this was a time where I was hearing a lot of music, which was gospel music influenced from America. So Andre Crouch, Tremaine Hawkins. It was beautiful, soulful gospel music. So what would happen? I'd play it in my bedroom, and then my mum would come knock on the door. Me no want hear none of that music in my house. And I'd be like, Mum, this is gospel music. It don't sound very gospelish to me. Me no want to hear it. And so I had to turn this music because it sounded so soulful and so full of our real culture that my mum found it offensive. And then one day I just had it out with her. I said to her, you know what? You're a racist. You have been brainwashed to try and sing like Europeans. You see the music that you're listening to at church? Yeah? All Handel's Messiah and all that. That's what the kings and queens used to dance to before. That was their dance hall music. That church music you're listening to now was white people's dance hall music. And that's why you're trying to sing. And because you lot culturally can't cut it, that's why it sounds like cats crying when you sing. And my mom looked at me, turned around, and went about her business. And from then on, I could play my Winans, my Andre Crouch, and everything else. I think she got the picture. And so for me, that was like when I kind of learned the difference between something which is culturally ours and something which culturally is not. So And that was a big turning point for me in like trying to understand my culture and the truth as regards to who we are and what we do. And you know, when you think about it, when it comes to singing, that is a gift from God for black people.
And I think probably at the end of the month, I'll probably touch into that. You know, why are we so gifted like that? Where does that talent actually come from?
Please do.
Actually, somewhere in the region of 2,500 years of history that's been brought up to date. You know, long before slavery. Slavery is purported to somehow be the be all and end all of our history, but of course there is a deeper history that goes way beyond that. So hopefully we'll be able to cover all of that, you know, over the month of October.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it here on What a Week. It's gonna be deep, it's gonna be thoughtful, but it's gonna be absolutely entertaining and hilariously funny along the way as well, man. Listen, we couldn't have this platform without you. We value you, so please make sure those of you who are not subscribing already. Oh, why are we at far? Eh? Those of you who are not sharing, how selfish of you.
Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Yeah. As long as sharing isn't Karen, because then that's cheating. Yeah. Well, we're gonna be here every Tuesday, same time, same place. What a week. I've been Mr. C.
And I'm Tony Crossbody. Good night.
Take care. God bless.